Hello everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jason. So we're going to take a little ride, and I'm going to discuss to you my first encounter with what many people will term UFOs. It was the beginning of my thirst for knowledge of the topic. You know, ever since I have been studying and doing a lot of research. I've even had other encounters I will share in later videos. So I'm thinking about posting a lot of videos like this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. You know, maybe we'll discuss other famous cases, not so famous cases, some new updates in the field, stuff like that, you know. So if it sounds something you guys are interested in, let me know. But anyhow, here we go. So I don't have the exact date down. I'm going to say offhand, when I think about it, I'm going to say 1999. You know, probably 20 years ago or so. Around when I was 21. So I grew up, right now I'm a couple miles out of Pittsburgh, but I grew up in north central PA in a town called Emporium, located in Cameron County, surrounded by mountains. And what we did was, growing up, most people from the area, you know, would just ride around back roads. You know, we would have parties up in the back roads, the mountains. And this evening, a couple of us decided to grab a couple of cases of beer in our trucks and just go for a ride. So it was me and one of my friends in my truck. My brother and his buddy were in another truck. 4 of us. We met at Sheetz, filled up, we got our beer, and we headed off. And when I initially told this story to people, I would always leave out that we got beer because, you know, I would think, you know, people would say, oh, you guys are drunk, and which has happened before, you know, people have said that. You don't know what you saw. But that wasn't the case at all, because this happened quite earlier, you know, and we're probably still in our first beers anyhow. And I want to be honest about this story, so I'll tell how it was. So we met up at Sheetz and took off, you know, and literally about a minute ride, you're at the bottom of the mountain already. So we're heading up the mountain. You get to the top, and there was this area where you pulled off to another dirt road, which led you to a pipeline, a hill climb type of thing that we would do every so often. At the top of this hill would be like a rock quarry, open area where a lot of parties were held, and that's kind of the direction we were heading. So we got to the bottom of this pipeline, and it had, you know, weeds and trees, but there was a trail enough, or enough people went up that hill that, you know, there was somewhat of a path. So we were heading up it, and, you know, and I'm going to say, you know, around halfway up there, we noticed this light towards the top of the mountain. Me and my buddy in my truck, I can't speak of what was going on in the truck behind us when they initially saw it. But anyhow, I was like, man, look at that. I don't ever remember there being a camp up there. You know, my first impression was I'm looking at a camp light, an awful bright light. You know, but that didn't last long. A few seconds later, you know, that theory was thrown out quick, you know. Is this thing a plane? A helicopter? You know, the light's getting bigger and bigger from my perspective. So, and what was going on is this light was coming down, and I realized this light is not a camp because it was above the tree line and coming below the tree line. And now this light is probably, I don't know, 30 feet off the top of the mountain, off of the ground from landing, you know, just a little bit above the trees. So we get out of the truck, and we're watching this thing, and it's not making no sound. And it's a perfect spear. This thing is silent, and it's glowing. Like it would be like orange, like it was on fire sort of, but, you know, not the flames type of thing, but the color. You know, it was like orange, then it would change to like golden, but it was this most beautiful color, like awe-inspiring color. Perfect spear. And you could see it slowly moving, and that was the thing, because you see it moving, but you didn't hear no sound. You know, and I'm talking, it was probably 25 feet in diameter. That's just a guess from where I was standing to where it was. And this thing was about to land. And right before it landed, you know, this went on for, I'm going to say, a few minutes as we're watching this thing. As it was about to land, it was like the whole top of the sky lit up. The whole mountain lit up. And it just vanished. You know, there wasn't a sound. It wasn't like a crash where you heard a bang. There was no sound at all. Just a big flash, and this thing was gone. And we are freaking out. We're like, did you see that? Yeah, what the hell was that? And we both knew in our minds what we saw was not of this world. It's just two and two together, you know. This thing didn't have propulsion. It wasn't spitting out to move, you know. It wasn't kicking out energy out of the back to move. It was a big ball of energy. You could feel the energy almost, in a sense, you know. It was breathtaking. And there was nothing up the top of the mountain. You know, we searched for this thing. It just vanished. And my brother, so after this happened, we're like turned around to see what they thought of it, if they saw it. And they were probably about 25 feet behind us. They stopped, and they initially both jumped out of the truck and flew under the truck. They were that terrified. They first thought it was a plane, but they both said they realized it wasn't, like a plane was going to crash. They realized it wasn't, but just didn't know what to do. And so one jumped out and said, "Get under the truck," and that's where they were. Both of them two jumped under the truck. The one guy's rarely ever talked about it. Me and my brother have discussed it. We both believe the same thing, you know, that it was a UFO, whatever you want to call it. It was an intelligence not of this world. It was the start of, once you experience something like that, you know, there's no doubt that there's things that we don't know. You know, and I had a thirst now. Like I knew, I saw something that I knew wasn't of this world, so I knew that there was intelligence that existed, which led me on a path to try to find answers. You know, so have I found the answers? No, but I've had a lot of other experiences, and I believe I have an idea now of what is going on with this in this field, which we can discuss in later videos. But I just wanted to get my first experience out, see what kind of feedback I get. So if you have any questions about this, or you have any ideas of things you want to hear discussed, I'm pretty knowledgeable on almost all the cases. Let me know in the comments, and appreciate you for listening. And believe me, there's things out there that exist that we don't know nothing about, because this was real and it was not of this world.